Hi there, it's Bike Tourer Mike here, and today we're going to talk about the different type of pedals and shoes that you can use on a bike tour. We're going to go through a couple of different type of pedals, and I'm also going to talk about which type of pedals I use for my bike tours. So to start things off, we're going to talk about a pedal that is never really recommended for bike touring, and that is the Shimano SPD-SL pedal, or common known as road bike pedals. While these ones are great for your Sunday bike ride when you want to make a lot of distance, using these on a bike tour isn't really that smart, since you often like to explore things around you on a bike tour. So everyone knows that using these pedals also comes with using these type of shoes. For those of you who had tried to walk more than a couple of meters in these type of shoes, you know what I'm talking about. So I think we can remove the road cycling shoes and pedals as an alternative for bike touring pedals. The next pedal we're going to talk about today is the clipless pedals, or SPD pedals, and these are commonly used on mountain bikes. And the corresponding shoe to these type of pedals look something like this. These ones have a recessed cleat on the underside here, so they're a bit more suitable for walking than the race shoes, but they're still pretty stiff in the shoe. They're a bit more flexible in the front end here. So walking on these types of shoes for more than a kilometer isn't a super pleasant experience. So these type of pedals are suitable for bike tours when making a big distance is the main goal of the bike tour, or bike tours where there's not really much to stop and explore around where you cycle. The main benefits of the clipless pedals are that you get more power with each pedal stroke, and that your foot is always connected to the pedal, so there's no risk of you slipping off the pedal if it's rainy or if you're cycling down a bumpy road. So your foot is always secure on the pedal. And the big drawbacks is that the corresponding shoes aren't really suitable for walking long distances. Another aspect is that since your foot is always connected in the same position, if that position is a bit off, you're a lot more prone to getting knee issues than if you have a flat pedal. And when you're starting out, if you're not used on cycling with SPD pedals, it takes quite a time to get used to clipping in and clipping out. And in the beginning, you're probably going to experience a couple of falls, since you're not used to clipping out instantly. So both you and the bike are just going to tip over. If you're going on a bike tour where the main objective of that bike tour is to discover things around you, and you plan on having a lot of time off the bike as well, then flat pedals are probably the right pedal for you. These are also called platform pedals. And if you're thinking about flat pedals, you might be thinking about those plastic $3 pedals that might come along when you buy a bike. But there are a lot of nice platform pedals that work really well. Like these pedals that I usually have on my mountain bike, but I have started to use them more and more on my touring bike as well. The last big bike tour that I made down in Provence, France, I had these pedals with me, since I knew I was going to explore a lot of hilltop villages, monasteries, and just the lovely nature around me. So I was planning on having a lot of time off the bike as well. So while you're not clipped in as you do on SPD pedals, these type of pedals have small spikes, as you can see here. So you still have a lot of grip between the pedal and your shoe. So you're basically getting the same amount of grip that you get on SPD pedals. The only difference being that you're not really getting the assistance on the upward pedal stroke as you do on SPD pedals. But there are a lot of benefits of using flat pedals on a bike tour. The first one being that you can choose whichever shoe you might like for that tour. This can be tennis shoes, hiking shoes, or a flip-flop if that's your weapon of choice. So this means that you can even get away with just using one pair of shoes for the whole entire bike tour. And this really lightens your load, since bringing along extra pair of shoes usually takes up a lot of space inside of your panniers. Another benefit is that there's really no learning curve to using flat pedals as with SPD pedals. You can just fix these to your bike and you're ready to go off the bat. Another benefit of having flat pedals is that there's a minimal chance of anything breaking, since there aren't really a lot of moving parts on these pedals. So the really only thing that you can break on these are the bearings. There are, however, a couple of drawbacks to having flat pedals, and that is that they're not as efficient as the SPD pedals. As I said earlier, you lose sort of your momentum on the upward pedal stroke, but I think that the help that the SPD pedals give you on the upward stroke is a bit over exaggerated. People talk about anything from 15 to 30%. I think that is pretty over exaggerated. Another drawback to having flat pedals is that you're more prone to having your foot slip off the pedal if it's wet outside or if you're going down a bumpy road. Of course, the SPD pedals, your foot is more secure on the pedal than with these. So wouldn't it be great if there was a pedal that combined the benefits of both the SPD pedals and the flat pedals? Well, there actually is, and that is a combination pedal. And this is the pedal that I've used on basically 90% of all of my bike tours. So there's an SPD mount on one side and a flat pedal with grips on the other side. So this gives you a lot of flexibility, since you're able to switch between a flat pedal and a SPD pedal in a matter of seconds. Sometimes I ride clipped into the SPD mount when I'm out on the countryside, and when I approach a big town I switch to the flat side, so I'm able to quickly stop at a red light or do other sudden maneuvers. So I usually cycle around with these type of shoes when I'm on the combination pedal as well. So as I talked about, I'm clipped in with the cleat on the underside here. So when I switch to the flat pedals, I can still use these type of shoes since they have a grippy underside here. So they're usable for both type of sides on the combination pedal. So if we talk benefits and drawbacks of the combination pedal, then of course the big benefit of the combination pedal is that you get the best of both worlds. The main drawback of the combination pedals is that the underside isn't as grippy as those flat pedals that I showed you earlier. So you're not really getting that perfect grip as you do on the flat pedals. But I still think they're solid enough to ride on. You get a lot of grip, just not as much as the flat pedals. So if I were to choose any of these pedals for my next bike tour, I would certainly not choose either the race pedal or the SPD mountain bike pedal. Instead I would go for either the combination pedal or the flat pedal, depending on what type of tour you were planning on making. If making a lot of distance is one of the main objectives of the tour, then I would go for the combination pedal. And if the main objective is to enjoy the surroundings around you and you want to spend a lot of time off the bike as well, then I would opt for the flat pedal. If you're into bike touring videos, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I've got a lot of nice things coming up here in the near future. In a couple of weeks I'm off to do a tour called the Vildmarksvägen, or the Wilderness Road here in Sweden. A really special tour. It's the highest paved road we have here in Sweden. So if you don't want to miss out on any videos from that certain tour, make sure you're subscribed, and until next time, have a good one.